everyone, it's Monica. Welcome back to Homeschool Voices. Today I'm going to give you an update on my charter school adventure. So a lot of you might not be familiar with what charter schools are at all. They are a publicly funded independent school. To me that sounds like sort of a marriage between public and private school. Make of it what you will. In California where I live, we have the option to do a charter school, but that is homeschool based, and I'll just briefly explain what that means. We get funds, educational funds, to buy approved products and services, and in return we have to jump through a few hoops. That's basically what it means. It's not a brick and mortar charter school like you might think. When I first decided to give this a try, because everyone is raving about it and how wonderful it is and how you get these funds and they're so helpful, I was nervous because if the government gives you money, there's going to be strings attached, and there are strings attached, but it really hasn't been too onerous so far. I joined up with a charter here in Southern California called ilead, and you have to do a lot of sign-up paperwork, and that took a lot of time, and they asked a lot of questions they didn't really need to ask, so it felt sort of invasive and a little weird. But whatever, I did it, we went through it, and because of that time that I put in, that initial investment, I was a little worried that the monthly meetings that we would do would be so negative that it would just make the whole experience not worth it. As I mentioned before, there are hoops that you have to jump through, and one of the biggest hoops is this monthly meeting that you have to do. So yes, the government is giving me money to educate my kids, and in return I have to show up every month and show proof that I'm educating them. I understand the need to do this, but it is a nuisance, and I was worried that it would be a negative experience, but so far it has not really turned out to be. But my concerns, I think, were valid. Most people that I talk to love it. They say it's easy, it's a breeze, it's not a big deal. But I have heard 3 or 4 people have pretty negative experiences, so I was sort of worried. And then I spoke with another friend, and she talked about her monthly meetings. Now this friend is pretty type A. She likes to just go into detail with everything. She likes that. I would call myself sort of type A, but I'm not quite that kind of type A. I like to go into detail, but I don't want to have to prove it to other people. So I was concerned that my EF, that's her name, Educational Facilitator, we call her an EF, I was concerned that she would want to do some of these things that my friend's EF wanted her to do. So my friend brings everything she works on, everything, which to me is mind-boggling. I can't imagine bringing everything, every worksheet. I mean, how do you document the books that they read, the educational things that they do on the computer, the language learning that they do on an app, or reading a foreign language book? How do you I mean, you can write everything down, the typing. I mean, there's a lot that they do, a lot, and to have to really document every little thing and bring it in seemed horrible and daunting, just daunting. And aside from it being a lot of work, I don't want to feel like I'm seeking approval from somebody else, because I really do feel confident in what I'm doing. I don't think it's too complicated. I think you can spend some time, you can look at what is typically done, say in public schools, you can look at what a typical education is like in some private schools, or college prep schools, and then you could do some of your own thinking and just kind of make a game plan. It's not that difficult, and I feel confident about it, and I just didn't like the idea of feeling like somebody wanted to give me approval. And then I know once you get into that way of thinking, it's hard to avoid wanting to seek approval, and I didn't want that, because I think that can affect how I educate my kids on a day-to-day basis. As it turns out, the meeting was very easy. The EF continues to be very pleasant, very helpful, very nice. She's just a lady doing her job, and she's pretty nice about it. So I like her so far. We'll see how it goes. But it was really easy. So here's the process. Here's what I have to do every month as far as checking in with the school to make sure I'm not a horrible teacher and I'm not stealing money, which is basically what's going on. So I have an online log that I have to fill out. It's basically the Google version of Excel, and they have all these categories. So for the 4 main subject areas, again, math, social studies, science, and language arts, and then also for PE, I have to list 3 items for each. And it's supposed to give a picture of what your kid is doing for the month. And one thing that I thought was funny in PE, for my son, I just put soccer, soccer, soccer. And apparently that's not okay. You have to put, this is the funny public school thinking, you have to put soccer, kicking, and running, you know, something like that would be okay, but you can't put soccer, soccer, soccer. I don't know why, because it's an incredible workout, but so whatever. It was an easy fix. I was able to fix it. You know, for science, you might put that they did this science experiment, they read this chapter in a book and that chapter in a book. If you're doing a textbook, or they read this book, they read that book and did this experiment. Okay, you get the idea. So there's 3 things in each subject area. And you have to fill that out prior to the meeting because that's part of what my EF has to turn in. So I have to turn stuff into my EF, she has to turn them into somebody else. So she's just crossing her T's and dotting her I's as well. On the actual day of the meeting, what I have to do is bring in 1 work sample in each of those 4 subject areas that I mentioned before. And the one thing that she mentioned was that she wants to see a lot of writing because whoever she turns this into wants to see a lot of writing, I guess, for whatever reason. I don't know. I like writing. Writing's good. I know a lot of people don't agree with pushing their kids to do a myriad of things, so that could be a problem, and I don't know if all charter schools are like that, but iLead likes to see a lot of writing, so it, you know, it's a little bit of a process, but I don't actually mind it. So for example, science to me does not normally include writing. So I said, could I take a picture of an experiment that they did? She says, well, it has to have the learner's face. Okay, so I have to take special pictures, a little photo shoot, and then I think I have Photoshop. I mean, I don't know how people, whatever. So put it into Photoshop, I made a little document, I put lines on it, and then I had my son describe what he did in the experiment and what he learned. So then when we went into the meeting, we just went through the work samples. So the kids sat with me, and then she just asked them about each of their work samples, and they just yammered on a little bit about each sample, and that was it. I mean, that was it. It was so easy, and it's also an opportunity for me to ask my EF any questions, maybe about field trips or about ordering a certain product or service, but also she's so available on text or email that I just didn't have any questions. All my questions had already been answered via text or email. So that was it, guys. That was it. It was really, really, really easy. My only remaining apprehension is state testing. So I have some big reasons in my head why I don't want to do it, and some big reasons in my head why I do, and I'll probably make a video when I get closer. I'm not fully decided on whether I want to do it. I like learning for learning's sake, and I don't think that the government should set the standard of what is good and what is bad, and so when you take these tests, you're sort of agreeing that the government is setting a standard, and it's just fraught. So I don't know if I love it, but they've never actually had an assessment like that, so maybe it would be a good thing. I don't know. I hope this video is helpful, you guys. If you guys have any questions about charter schools or my personal experience or about iLead specifically, please ask me in the comments. I will either respond to you directly in the comments or I will message you. If you have any ideas for any other videos you would like me to make, anything you're curious about or questions that you have, please also let me know that in the comments. I hope this video was helpful, and if you liked it, please click thumbs up, and please also click subscribe if you want to see more videos like this and the notification bell next to it. In the meantime, happy homeschooling and have a great day.